Well, that brings us to another question
Mm.
was forwarded us from my other friend James from Goosepipe Gaming, and he's sent us a gaming related question, which I think is a very interesting one, which is,
Mm.
can you tell us about any useless gaming accessories that you've ever bought?
Mm.
Which is a good one, because I mean, you mentioned controllers earlier. That
Yeah.
usually, so with a lot of consoles, you'll get a standard controller, and that's pretty much what you'll stick with unless it goes wrong or you need to
Mm.
sort of change it for whatever reason. Um, I think in answering to the question for myself, I think the standout ones for me, and this is sort of going back a while. Um, I remember having the original Game Boy, so the black and white
Yeah.
Game Boy
Yeah.
before they put a color screen or backlit screen. It didn't have a backlit screen, so you had to, if you wanted to play anything but really good light, you were absolutely doomed. And they sold this thing which was sort of like a square lens that went over the screen with this huge battery pack on the back of it, which then added a light so that you could play it
Did it have a
in
magnifier
the
as
dark.
well on it?
Yes, I
I
believe it
do.
had
I
a
remember that.
magnifier as well.
I remember that.
And it was this terrible. I mean, it served a purpose because it sort of worked. But
Mm.
I remember this thing went through batteries. You'd be lucky to get half an hour probably out of it, and it used something like four AA batteries in it. It's such a beast, and took it away from being portable or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that being a awful. Except it worked, but like God,
Yeah. No,
dreadful.
that's good. That's a good shout there. I mean, I really struggled with this question. It's a great question. I'm not really one for buying additional accessories for my consoles. The one that I do remember was having a separate, like, with the PlayStation 3. I remember ordering it. It was probably about 30 quid as well. It was like a Blu-ray player remote. So it was a big old
Yeah,
remote, and you could operate it, but there was more buttons needed than needed.
yeah,
At the end of the day, I mean, now I still play Blu-rays or DVDs or whatever on my PlayStation 4, and I just use the normal controller.
yeah.
But I remember having this big chunky controller for the PS3, which really was pointless. But also, one that always stands out for me is when I lived in Essex. I done a house share with a friend who had a Nintendo Wii, which at the time was brilliant. I thought that was kind of different compared to
Yeah,
everything
no,
else that was on the
very, very
market.
different.
But it slowly they just started bringing out different kind of gadgets to go for your controller to fit in. So you'd have like a steering wheel,
Yeah,
or you'd have something. I'm sure there was loads of other things as well. But it soon became apparent that it didn't really matter what it
no,
was in.
that's
You
it.
could literally, I mean, really, I liked getting involved and playing the tennis and things like that on there. But realistically, you could lay down on the sofa, not even looking at the screen, and
And
just kind
Jen
of
just do
flick your
that
wrist.
with your wrist.
Yeah, and even driving games or whatever, really didn't need to. So there was a lot of pointless additional things that you could put the controller in. Did you have a Wii?
Well, yeah, and we actually got you saying about those sort of things. We bought recently for the Switch Mario Tennis,
Hmm.
which is an awesome game. Um, but just as partner, we bought it from a friend, and they included in it these bracket attachments.
Wow.
So like the Switch controller fits in the bottom with them, and then you use this tennis racket again, completely pointless because
Yeah.
you can just do it without. But
I
yeah,
don't know whether it's the same, but on the Switch as well, there's that kind of ring
yeah, the
accessory, which looks
fitness
pretty
thing,
cool.
isn't it?
Fitness ring.
Yeah,
I don't know
I think
whether
that's
that's
got a
the same.
purpose because that's got resistance, I think, isn't it,
Right.
to
Yeah,
it?
I'd be intrigued to see what they're like. But
Mm.
yeah, again, like really good question because I'm sure there are loads of different. I mean, I was again, we'll come back round full circle here, but the PS4, looking at the different things that you can get with that.
Yeah,
Um, you've got the camera that you can buy, which will go with something. There's the headset and all that stuff.
yeah.
Different. Even the Xbox. I didn't even know this with the Xbox. There's a an Elite controller
Mm.
that you can
Yeah, and
get.
that's been out for a little while
I
now.
mean, it looks incredible. I mean, but in the pack, you've got different thumb sticks
Yeah,
attachments that you
you
can
can
change it
change all the
to.
bits.
Yeah,
Really
just
clever.
the quality of it feels, according to the
It's
reviews,
about 130 quid or
I
something.
mean, that's mega money.
Yeah.
That's mega.
The amazing accessory that Xbox do, it is for people with sort of physical disabilities and things like that. And so the buttons on it are really large. The buttons are sort of, I don't know, 10 centimeters wide. So that people of all abilities can play.
That is really
That's
good.
really cool.
That is really...
I just remembered in terms of other sort of, I've got a long history of weird additional controller things. I remember from the Dreamcast having a keyboard, full size QWERTY keyboard, which I got just because you could get it. Don't know why. I think it cost a £5 or something. Is when they were
I don't know
going
why.
out of. I've never used it because what do you need a full size QWERTY keyboard for a Dreamcast for? I remember having on the PlayStation 2, there was was it Def Jam made a rap game? There's some sort of rap game, and basically it was karaoke.
Yeah.
So you'd seen this video. It was like an animated video that they'd done with the words up, and you had a microphone and you could rap along. I remember having that.
I remember that.
And also on the PS2, I don't know what's he called? Buzz. There's this funny sort of egg-shaped sort of character, and you got little buzzers. It was a red button at the top and then colour buttons down the side.
Right.
And you all sat there with it, and it came up the question. You pressed your buzzer to answer the question and things. All these sort of weird things.
Mad.
But they're probably the highlight, switching the thing on its head. Highlight controller for me was on the GameCube, the bongos for Donkey Konga. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't. I didn't know they had that.
It is worth buying a GameCube for. Basically, the game was a bit like, Guitar Hero, you press the buttons in time. But this was sort of, the left and right bongos, real like proper little plastic bongos, and you drummed along to the songs, and it had like well-known songs on there, and you'd sit there just sort of drumming away in time, pressing what you wanted. Incredible.
I mean, I was going to say mine would have to be, for one that I've actually had, would be Guitar Hero, and I wasn't very good at it, but it kind of, I loved it because not just the actual equipment is pretty basic when you think about what you're doing, but just the game in general
works, doesn't it?
And I think that was around a time as well when arcades, you had all the dance machines and things like that, so it was a similar kind of making sure you hit the right tune and color and all that stuff. Rock Band as well on the Xbox, that was, played it was incredible.
So
really
is a game that I think they should bring back.
For
going back to next gen, bring back an amazing wireless guitar thing. It's so simple, but people would love it. I'd love it. I'd buy that, and I know my boys would absolutely love playing.
It's one that gets everyone gets involved, and this is the thing. Rock Band itself, I've played round people's houses when there's been like a party or a gathering or whatever, and it's just been so much fun. You've had someone singing, someone on the drums or whatever. It's brilliant. It is brilliant.
I do get unbearably competitive with it though. Is the issue.
Just taking people out with your guitar.
No, it just becomes boring because 3 hours later, because someone it's that constant one-upmanship of they got it slightly better than I did, so I've got to play it again, and it's all good fun though.